So, Prabhu, thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. Mukunda Prabhu asked me to keep this general, so we're not going to speak about general election or anything like that. If we look at the news, daily news, I'm a victim of looking at the news more than I need to, but we find the same old topics again and again. Not to say that these topics aren't important, but if we examine them carefully, whether it's politics, or sports, or science, or entertainment, what we hear from words of wisdom of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita specifically, Krishna says, of all sciences, I am the science of the self. These are actually, Christ also echoed these words. Know thyself. So this is what this process of Krishna consciousness is all about. We speak of Krishna, we understand, at least theoretically, we understand Krishna as a supreme, but that begs the question of trying to understand, who are we? Who am I? And still institutions are lacking in providing this information. Technology is rampant throughout the world, faster than we can imagine. Talks of AI, all that stuff. This can actually be broken down very simply in the Bhagavad Gita. No matter how complex the manipulation of this material energy, the material energy can never really approach the spiritual energy. Krishna explains very nicely in the 7th chapter, 3 types of energy consist of the absolute. There's a superior energy, the supreme, God. There's the inferior energy, matter, earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intelligence, and the false ego. These are the separated material energies. And there's an energy called the marginal energy. What is that marginal energy? It's actually in the category of spiritual energy. But the difference between the spirit whole, the superior energy, and the marginal is the marginal can be affected, influenced by the material or the spiritual. And that's all of us. We are the marginal energy. We are spiritual, but we are marginal. So just imagine we're in this world, we've given the opportunity, the most incredible opportunity of getting a human form of life out of all the millions of species. We have a human form of life, and only in the human form of life can we ask this question, who am I? What is life? George Harrison's song, what is life? Who is God? So, however, despite this greatest opportunity, we're in a pretty sensitive predicament. Anybody here ever walk a tightrope? Huh? We're like on a tightrope. And the thing is, there's a net on one side only. Right? There's a net on one side. On the other side, there's no net. Right. So we can walk the tightrope, Krishna consciousness, we're walking the tightrope, but we're always trying to remember our relationship with the spiritual energy. And leaning to that side in case we fall down. We fall into the arms, the protective net of Krishna. But if we fall on the other side, it can be very, very troublesome. We all have experience of what how much trouble this world can be, this life can be. We don't want to get into all of that. But one thing is guaranteed. For everyone, the same basic problems will always be there, materially speaking. Birth, disease, old age, and death. Birth, disease, old age, and death. And we live in an environment which is constantly trying to help us forget that. So many bright lights and allurements to make us forget that. Why? We don't want to think of that. Oh my God. We start talking about this issue, nobody's ever going to come here again, right? It's so depressing. Yeah, it is depressing. Birth, disease, old age, and death. Who wants to discuss these things? But actually, human life means to become sober, to address these issues. But the good news is, as spiritual beings, ultimately we have nothing to do with birth, disease, old age, and death. The soul. Never was there a time, Krishna, I did not exist, nor in the future shall I ever cease to be. Like I mentioned this before, when Moses parted the sea, you existed. All of us existed. When this whole creation just comes to nothing again, we continue to exist. Such an inconceivable concept that the soul is eternal. And the soul is full of knowledge, and the soul is full of unlimited pleasure. So thankfully we have a process that's extremely simple. Simple but not easy. What is it? Chanting the holy names. Very simple. 3 words over and over again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What keeps us continuing that? Constantly. It's simple. It's not easy. Why is it not easy? Because we have not only years, but lifetimes of conditioning. And we have to be patient. We're conditioned to think other things are more important and so on. But Krishna consciousness is a remedy that helps us solve both our spiritual and material problems. If we address our spiritual dilemma first, the other things will come into place. If you have a debt of $5 and another one $10 and you have $20 debt here and there and you're trying to pay them off, but somehow or other someone gives you $500 and you got no problem. So that is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness will solve all our debts, all our problems. So thanks again for coming. It's really inspiring. The group is growing.